50,000 or 500,000. We have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1758. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1758. 800-575-1758. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. A very handsome reward indeed. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% IRA boost on annual contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings event interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Maybe you can relate to this. A lot of people can. They feel like their healthcare costs are just out. And if you're 65 or older, there's actually some great news about this. You can sign up for MediShare 65 Plus and save big in the new year. MediShare 65 Plus is a healthcare bill sharing community. It's trusted, it's faith-based, and it's saving people like you thousands on medical expenses. If you have Medicare Parts A and B, you know out-of-pocket expenses add up fast, but this gets things back under control and gives you peace of mind too. With one low monthly price, saves you so much, and it's easy. You can use any Medicare-approved doctor. So find out why so many seniors are absolutely raving about MediShare 65 Plus. It's very different in a wonderful way. It's actually refreshing. They even offer to pray with you each time you call. Call now and find out more. It's 844-SHARE-65. That's 844-SHARE-65. 844-SHARE-65.
Are you compliant with California's Clean Truck Check? Know what you need to do to avoid DMV registration holds. Almost all vehicles over 14,000 pounds gross vehicle weight rating operating in California need to report, pay annual fees, and test. In-state and out-of-state vehicles, including California registered motorhomes and agricultural vehicles, must comply. Visit arb.ca.gov/clean-truck-check to learn more about your reporting and emissions requirements.
You're listening to Fox News Channel on Sirius XM Channel 114.
We haven't started. We're going to work some of the smaller muscles in your arms and your. We're going to work some of the smaller muscles in your arms and your legs at the same time.
This sounds painful.
All right. No, it feels good. Show us.
No, those
All right.
boots are perfect.
So we're,
Yeah, these are my Pilates boots.
you can do Pilates in anything. Tuxedo even. Take your roll, put it in between your thighs, and we're going to hold your ring. This is called a magic circle or a ring. Nice long fingertips out in front of you. And we're just going to do some knee bends. So I'm going to bend down, stand up, pulse into my ring and my ball. Like a little squat.
Pulse into my ring.
Yes, squeeze into your ring.
Pulsing into your ball there, Charlie. I can't do two.
But then you should be feeling your abs activating with that pulse and your glutes activating as we're standing up.
Oh, wow. We should keep our core nice and tight, right?
And pulling your belly button in and up, shoulders down and back.
Sorry about that.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, well, I'll do this about 3,000 more times.
We're just going to put it
Thank you.
Welcome.
And we're going to do a little marching. So we concentrate on pelvo-lumbar stability to activate your core. So I'm going to pick up a knee, squeeze into my ring. Try not to move your hips. Pull from your lower abdomen. You can exhale to put, as you pull your knee up, and your abs will get tighter.
By the way, you guys, my daughter does Pilates. I think
I called Lonnie. Fishing with me.
Okay, so we just up on the ground as well, right?
There's some other else. We're just gonna sit down. And you can sit to the side.
Come on, Charlie.
To the side.
Or you can sit facing forward. Just squeeze your knees together.
Yeah.
Knees are bent, feet on the floor. You're still holding onto your rig. That's gonna activate nice ab muscles. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hinge back. Just until you feel your abs.
Cavalieri, come say hi before you leave. I'll be home in 2 minutes. I just went to the group. Yeah, come over now. I'll be home in 1 minute. Come over, say hi. You're not dressed? Oh, man. What kind of schedule are you on? Okay, well, that's perfect. All right. Well, I'm home now, so I'll see you when you walk over. Okay. Okay.
President Trump's pro-business agenda is set to create endless new stock market opportunities. And when it comes to seizing opportunities in the market, investors from all over the country seem to balance on offer and Fox Business host Charles Payne. His newest book, Unbreakable Investors, has huge success, with over 100,000 copies already in the hands of investors. And today, Charles wants you to have a copy for free as his gift.
Yeah, it's right there. Thank you.
Over there.
Okay.
Thank you.
My dogs that looks and acts just like natural grass. You can't beat Celebrity Green's attention to detail and exceptional customer service. Learn how to create a championship putting green in your own backyard. Call the pros at Celebrity Greens 1-888-507-7960 or visit them online at celebritygreens.com.
Travel is great, but planning for travel can be time-consuming and difficult. That's where One Travel comes in. With One Travel, you'll find everything you need to book the perfect trip. Flights, hotels, cars, transportation. It's all right there. With One Travel, book online, via app, or even pick up the phone and talk to a travel advisor. onetravel.com/serious or call 1-888-217-2722. Plan it, book it, live it. One Travel.
TaxAct can think of a million things more fun than filing taxes. TaxAct is going to name some now. Sitting in traffic, folding a fitted bedsheet, listening to your coworker talk. TaxAct's filing software can't make taxes fun, but TaxAct can.
Thank you.
Don't get it, Charlie.
See you tomorrow, everybody.
Fox is on top of the Senate's push to get President Donald Trump's cabinet through. Lawmakers working through the weekend to confirm two big picks for Trump's administration. Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth pushed over the finish line by a tie-breaking vote from Vice President J.D. Vance. And DHS nominee Kristi Noem awaiting her vote just 90 minutes from now. Does she face a tough road ahead too? Republican Senate Homeland Security member Roger Marshall weighs in on that. Plus, President Trump's border crackdown in full swing this week as troops head to the border and ICE makes hundreds of arrests. But a key part of Trump's plan facing some roadblocks after a judge blocked his order to end birthright citizenship. So what happens next? And more Israeli hostages reunited with their families today. But will that ceasefire deal continue to hold? We're on top of it all. Welcome, everybody. I'm Jackie DeAngelis, and this is Fox News Live. We go ahead and start with Chad Pergram. He is live for us on Capitol Hill, where the Senate has convened and is preparing for Kristi Noem's confirmation vote. Chad, what's the latest?
Jackie, good morning. The Senate meets in a rare Saturday session to confirm many of President Trump's cabinet nominees. They want to confirm as many of these nominees as possible. Confirmations are lagging behind the pace of previous administrations, and that's why the Senate voted last night and votes again this morning.
The yeas are 50 and the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the nomination is confirmed.
The Senate confirmed Pete Hegseth as Defense Secretary 51 to 50. This is only the second time Vice President cast a tie-breaking vote to confirm a cabinet secretary.
President, what do you think of me?
Very exciting. I'll get through this. I'll see you guys.
3 Republicans joined all Democrats in voting no. They were Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and Mitch McConnell. In a lengthy statement, McConnell said he did not think Hegseth could pass daily tests at the Pentagon. McConnell is an old nemesis of the president.
Are you disappointed that McConnell voted no?
I didn't even know that. No, I don't know that. I just heard that we won. Winning is what matters, right?
On Hegseth, Democrats said they had reservations about allegations of sexual assault, which he denies.
So as we near the vote for this most important position, my plea to my colleagues, as one who has supported every Secretary of Defense who's ever come before my committee, Democrat or Republican, is don't rush this and make it.
This is so important to get these nominations across the finish line. President Trump is writing, I guess, 200 executive orders. We need people like Kristi Noem to go down there and secure our border. The president ran on prosperity and security, mostly on security. I think Kristi flies through this. She came out of committee, I think, like 13-2 vote in favor of her. She had 8 Democrats vote for her in the cloture vote. Kristi is tough as nails. She's South Dakota tough, and she's also very gentle and compassionate as well. So she's going to do a great job as Secretary of DHS. She's going to make your family safe and secure. Remember, Kristi was the first governor to send her own National Guard troops, and I think she also sent supplies to help secure the border. I think she goes through with flying colors today.
Okay, we'll be watching closely. You also sit on the Senate Agriculture Committee and voted to advance Brooke Rollins for Agriculture Secretary. How do you think that hearing went?
Oh my gosh, you're going to love Brooke Rollins. She's going to give agriculture a strong voice. This is a young lady from Glen Rose, Texas, a small town. She grew up in agriculture. She grew up in 4-H and FFA. She brought her old high school agriculture teacher to the hearing, as well as all of her FFA leadership. And that'll mean a lot to those folks in agriculture, where her ties really are. She's going to be a strong voice there in the president's cabinet for agriculture and rural America. Don't forget, 90% 60% of rural America supported President Trump.
And how did you feel about the Hegseth vote coming down to that
Oh, yeah.
tiebreaker? Only the
Because
second time,
demandé.
as Chad Program mentioned, that we've seen a vice president weigh in on a
Si
confirmation in history.
está haciendo como
Your
una
thoughts
transmisión
on
en vivo,
that
si lo pones en el
process and
televisor lo
how
vas a
it
poder
went,
ver ahí, lo
you
estoy
know,
manejando en
through
vivo.
last night, how it took shape.
Right. Well, like President Trump just said, it is all about winning. It's the
Como
final
estoy
score does
transmitiendo
matter,
ahora.
and all that matters is we got Pete Hegseth across the finish line. I think this is so important. Pete will never bow to the national military
él es muy
trillion-dollar
temprano.
industrial complex.
Era en el
He's going to
aeropuerto de
focus on those soldiers on the front line, like my own son. He's going to focus on the morale within the military as well as recruiting. And again, he's not going to bend the knee to that national military industrial complex. I'm glad we got him across the finish line. I wish we didn't have to wake JD up, or he could have finished tucking his kids in bed. But JD did get to come in, and I think a little drama, that's okay. All that matters is we win.
All right, we can see a little drama next week, too. We're always looking ahead, Senator. We've got HHS pick RFK Jr., DNI pick Tulsi Gabbard. Your thoughts on those?
Yeah, so I talked to Bobby again yesterday. We've had a lot of conversation. I think he's winning people over. I think the big deal about Bobby is he has an army of people across the country that support him. It was absolutely a sentinel moment when we saw President Trump's numbers jump during the election when he selected Bobby to help work with him when Bobby endorsed the President Trump as well. Look, we have a chronic disease epidemic in this country. 60% of Americans have a chronic disease. When I was growing up, it was 6%. Now it's 60%. I look forward to working with Bobby and Dr. Oz to make America healthy again. On Tulsi, I love Tulsi Gabbard. She's not an insider. She's not a spy. She's not a spook. All she's about is transparency. I think that she's going to err on the side of sharing more information with Congress and more information with Americans. I believe in Americans. I believe that they can handle the truth. I think as we start releasing the JFK files, RFK, Martin Luther King files, as we start releasing more of the Fauci COVID files, she's going to be critically important to make sure that we get all the information out there. Tulsi's going to do a great job as well. She's tough as nails as well.
Absolutely, and of course the American people are looking for that kind of transparency. Just quickly before I let you go, Senator, I wanted to ask you about the Laken Riley Act. It's expected to hit President Trump's desk in the coming days. It will be his first bill that he signs into law. The impact on this and the huge issue of immigration that our country is facing right now.
Yeah, well, again, the president and Republicans ran on securing the border, making their families secure. So this is a great legislation. What it does, if you're an illegal alien in this country and you break a law, it requires the local police to hold that person until ICE gets there. And if that would have happened before, it would have saved Laken Riley's life. We can never bring Laken back, but this is certainly honors her life and will prevent future murders like we saw in her situation. So it's a great first step. We need to get Christie across the finish line so she can get down there and really secure the borders. I wanted to say thanks to all the troops that are going down there. President Trump's goal is to have zero gotaways. Zero gotaways. I know troops from my home in Fort Riley, Kansas are going down there to help secure the border. So thanks to them and all their families making this sacrifice. Thanks for helping make America safe again.
Senator Roger Marshall, we so appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, have a good day. Go Chiefs.
Okay, let's get to Israel now, where 4 more hostages were released by Hamas today, reunited with their families. Trey Yingst is in Tel Aviv with the details for us. Hi, Trey.
Hey, Jackie. Good morning. These 4 young women were reunited with their families today after being released from Hamas captivity as part of this larger ceasefire agreement. We know they were paraded through Palestine Square in Gaza City by Hamas before being handed over to the Red Cross and driven to an IDF checkpoint inside Gaza. They were then taken to a reunification center along the border where they met their parents. They were then flown here to Tel Aviv, where they're currently being evaluated at a hospital by doctors and psychologists. They were held inside Gaza for 477 days. So seeing these helicopters land here in central Israel really sent a sigh of relief across this population. They weren't sure up until this week if these women were dead or alive. They were taken into Gaza on the morning of October 7th from the Nahal Oz base, where 54 Israeli soldiers were killed by Hamas. And the Israelis are waiting to see if dozens of other hostages are going to come out alive. They know they will be exchanged for Palestinian prisoners as part of this agreement. Of prisoners were released into the West Bank and many also released into Egypt, some of the more high-profile prisoners. We do have some of the video from the West Bank of this exchange in Ramallah where a bus dropped off many of these prisoners. They were waving Hamas and Islamic Jihad flags as they were celebrating and chanting Allahu Akbar. Moving forward, this is a delicate ceasefire, and we do know the Israelis say they're already implementing new parts of the agreement. They say that Hamas is not actually following through on the deal. There was one Israeli civilian hostage, a female from Nir Oz, a southern community, that was supposed to be released today, and she was not. And so, of course, in the days ahead, they will try to go back to the table in Doha and push the negotiators to ensure that this woman is released next weekend when another exchange is set to take place. Jackie?
Trey Yingst, thank you so much for that. Also, ICE arresting hundreds of migrants across the U.S. as President Trump ramps up deportations. What a Texas official on the ground makes of his border crackdown, that's next. And alleged Idaho college killer Brian Koberger appearing in court this week. Why questions over the investigation process could throw a major wrench in the prosecution's case.
Be a lifeline for Southern California by supporting the Red Cross Wildfire Relief Effort. The American Red Cross is on the front lines, providing emergency shelter, food, water, and medical support to those affected. Together, we can make a difference. To donate, please visit redcross.org, call 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text CA Wildfires to 90999. That's redcross.org, 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text CA Wildfires to 90999.
My name is Preston James. I've been a stock and options trader for 23 years. I used to be an active swing trader, but that all changed once I discovered my Money Press weekly paycheck method. These days, I'm a passive trader, hauling in more cash while being able to sleep at night than I ever dreamed possible. I'm passionate about the market, and I like to keep it simple. My methods are changing thousands of lives, and I'm confident they can change yours. But let the proof do the talking. By going to accountproof.com, that's accountproof.com, you'll see a 7-minute video revealing how my Money Press method grew a $54,000 account to $174,000 in less than 9 months. That works out to 5.8% per week. You'll see the proof right inside my real brokerage account. This isn't about overnight riches, but once you discover this for yourself, you can start on this same path overnight. You're 7 minutes away from changing everything you thought you knew about trading and investing. Go to accountproof.com to get started. That's accountproof.com.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Now, if a family member or friend asked you for financial advice or where to go for tax help, well, would you send them somewhere with hundreds and hundreds of complaints? Of course not. That's why for years you've heard me say if you do owe back taxes, if you didn't file returns in the years gone by, or if you are a business owner and you're behind on your payroll taxes, you need to call my friends at Rush Tax Resolution today. Now, hiring the wrong companies can make your situation a lot worse and put you, your family, and or your company in jeopardy. Now, there are a lot of imposters out there, but Rush Tax Resolution, they are the only tax relief firm I trust and recommend. They are A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They have protected so many of my listeners from tax disasters and saved them a ton of money. Call Rush Tax now for a free IRS transcript investigation, and they'll tell you upfront and for free if they can help you. They will only take your case if they know they can help you, period. 800-258-7050. 800-258-7050. RushTaxResolution.com.
Expect more in 2025 with Schneider Freight Power for owner-operators. Easily pick from all the traditional freight available to owner-operators and over 1,000 other loads Schneider also manages daily. Take advantage of 95% drop and hook freight, load transparency, and customized search features. Plus, for a limited time, you may be eligible to get $6,000 in incentives spread out in weekly payments over your first 23 weeks. See more ways Freight Power benefits your business at SchneiderOwnerOperators.com.
With the winter right around the corner, now is the perfect time to get happy. It's time to call CertaPro Painters. With over 50,000 5-star painting reviews, our commitment to excellence shines through every project. Join the ranks of satisfied customers who trust North America's most referred painting services. Find out what makes CertaPro Painters different. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro. Visit CertaPro.com. That's CertaPro.com. Each local CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
You're listening to Fox News Channel on Sirius XM Channel 114.
suspect in those 2022 Idaho college murders appearing in court this week, where his lawyers were pushing hard to toss out most of the evidence in his case. CB Cotton explains. CB.
Hi, good morning, Jackie. Brian Kohberger's defense team argues their client's constitutional rights were violated when investigators used a process called investigative genetic genealogy to identify Kohberger as a suspect. The defense also claims that once Kohberger was identified, police officers lied to get search warrants in the case. So Kohberger's defense wants that investigative genetic genealogy evidence thrown out. Their arguments, however, didn't appear to move the judge, who said to the defense attorney, quote, "I struggle with the idea that DNA left at a crime scene, that there's any expectation of privacy." The defense also questioned the credibility of an eyewitness, a surviving housemate who reported seeing a masked man and overhearing sounds of a struggle, according to police. Despite the massacre, she went to bed, and police weren't contacted until hours later when a friend called 911 from one of the survivors' phones late in the morning. But prosecutors defended the eyewitness to the judge, saying the surviving housemate's description of the suspect never changed. Kohberger's attorneys made a series of other arguments to the judge in an effort to get most of this evidence in the case thrown out. The two-day hearing on the defense motions ended without any official decisions, but legal experts tell Fox if the defense is successful with its arguments, it could throw a huge wrench in the prosecution's case before the August trial.
I do not think that there is any way that the prosecution could proceed in this case. Everything else is, circumstantial, and they lose the DNA evidence, and then they lose all of those other things. What's the evidence do they have left? There's nothing left to proceed.
Judge entered not guilty on Kohberger's behalf at his arraignment in May of 2023. Kohberger is being held without bail and could face the death penalty if convicted. Jackie.
CB Cotton, thank you for that update. Meanwhile, President Trump's illegal immigration crackdown, it's in full force in his first week, from mass deportations to ICE arrests and troops at our southern border. Madeline Rivera is in Washington with the details for us. Hi, Madeline.
Good morning, Jackie. President Trump promised shock and awe in his first week, and there's certainly a dramatic escalation of activity at the southern border. The 1,500 service members that the Pentagon is deploying to El Paso and San Diego will be focused on things like placing physical barriers and giving aerial support. Some intelligence analysts will also be working on monitoring activities. They are joining the 2,500 troops that the Biden administration had already sent to the border. Deportation flights using military aircraft began this week as well. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce says Guatemala received 2 flights and 4 flights arrived in Mexico yesterday. ICE also says it arrested more than 500 migrants on Thursday whom the White House says were criminals. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says some of those who were arrested included Trendy Aragua gang members, child predators, murderers, and rapists. So officials in New Jersey, though, are slamming an ICE raid in Newark. The mayor of the city says ICE agents went into the business without a warrant, arrested 3 people whom agents said were in the country illegally, and detained U.S. citizens. The mayor called the action unconstitutional. The Trump administration also released a memo this week granting the quick removal of migrants who are allowed to enter the country temporarily under Biden administration era programs. Jackie, back to you.
Madeline, thank you so much. We want to get a read from an official that's on the ground first on the ICE arrest of some of those serious criminals. Texas Department of Public Safety Lieutenant Chris Olivares is with me now. It's good to have you on this pivotal topic. This was a huge election issue. The American people spoke. They want immigration fixed in this country. They want the border secured. President Trump is delivering on his promise, starting to deport the criminals. How's it going?
Well, good morning, Jackie. That's definitely what we're seeing right now. We're seeing how this new administration is advancing their policies and their objectives and what they've been talking about in the last 4 years, and how we're starting to uncover the damage from the last 4 years, and how you saw in the first 24 hours, hundreds of criminal illegal immigrants were arrested by ICE agents. This is the worst of the worst. This is something that they've been talking about, even Tom Homan has been talking about, is going after the worst of the worst, the threats to public safety and national security, getting those individuals, those criminals removed from the communities to ensure a much more safer environment for those that live in those areas. So again, it really shows how they are prioritizing the safety and security and also the country by focusing on those criminals.
Absolutely, and we are focused on the safety of the country, but we also wonder, sir, about the message that this basically gives the whole world and also the countries at our southern border who have been letting people come across. The Trump administration is beginning deportation flights on Friday. They say those flights send a very strong and clear message to the entire world. Do you agree?
I do. I mean, it's a deterrent. So anytime you're able to actually apply consequences, which there was no consequences being applied for years when it comes to deportations or asylum, or even the parole process, we've seen the abuse of that system for 4 years now. That's what led to a record level of mass migration. And now how that transitions over to what we're doing in Texas, we have been able to decrease illegal border crossings in the last year by over 87% just because of our efforts, but what we were able to do on the border in Texas by building infrastructure, using our National Guard soldiers, our state troopers making criminal arrests. So we've been able to focus on that criminal element, but it does send a clear message to anyone, whether you're trying to come to the country illegally or those that are trying to cause harm, that it's not going to be tolerated. There is zero tolerance for that. We are a law and order state. Our Governor Abbott, has made it very clear that we are going to go after those individuals, those criminals that want to cause harm to our communities. That's what we've been doing for the last 4 years by making over 50,000 criminal arrests with our border objective. And that's our commitment moving forward, is to focus on those public safety threats and transnational criminal activity.
We're just going to pause for a moment. My understanding is that we've got breaking news on Capitol Hill. Vice President J.D. Vance holding a swearing-in ceremony for new Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth after casting that tie-breaking vote last night. Let's listen.
Somebody who's had their back. That will change because the President of the United States nominated this guy, and we are grateful to President Trump for doing so. I also want to say thank you to my Senate colleagues. It turns out we couldn't spare one, and all of you did an incredible job. In particular, my dear friend Roger Wicker, thank you for shepherding Pete through the committee. Roger did a great job. And in addition, all of the members of the Senate Armed Services Committee, who I know gave Pete the vetting and the hearing that he deserved, and I'm glad that we all ultimately decided that the president's nominee for Secretary of Defense ought to be our actual Secretary of Defense, and we're here today. But to say one final thing, if you look at what has separated President Trump from so many of the people who came before him, it is the view that, number one, we should be sparing in how we deploy our most precious resource, which is the men and women who are willing to put on the uniform and put their life on the line for this country. We shouldn't send them everywhere. But two, when we do send them anywhere, we ought to empower them with the tools necessary to fight and win quickly and come home afterwards. And that is what sets this administration apart, and that's what Pete Hegseth represents. Now, finally, I, of course, have to thank the nominee himself. Pete, thank you for being willing to put yourself out there. I think you've shown yourself a man of deep character and of resolve over the last few months. Jennifer, thank you for standing by, our new Secretary of Defense, and your beautiful family, from your kids to the extended family. You guys did a hell of a job. We're proud of you, and we're glad to have you in Washington as we work to make America great again. So with that, let me administer the oath of office. Kids, come on up. All right, so stand on the Bible, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I, Pete Hegseth, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That I will support and defend the
Estoy yendo a Sony Island.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
No, voy a recoger a una gente para el aeropuerto.
Foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely. That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
Yo te lo mandé un mensaje de esto en el teléfono. Ahí, lo puedes abrir ahora ahí. No.
The duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. The duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. Secretary. His will be done, and we're grateful to be here. And as I said in my hearing, it was Jesus and Jenny. I would not be here without you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. I want to thank the President of the United States, our Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump. We could not have a better Commander-in-Chief than him. It is the honor of a lifetime, sir, to serve under you. We look forward to having the backs of our troops and having your back in executing peace through strength, in putting America first, and in rebuilding our military. Mr. Vice President, thank you for breaking the tie. It's not the last time, or not the first time the headline reads, Junior Enlisted Marine bails out Junior Army Officer. And you know, some people were saying, well, 50-50, that's too tight. And Senator Mark Wayne Mullen was nice enough to take my kids up to the gallery to watch the actual moment that the Vice President sealed the deal. And they came running in, they said, Dad, instead of being sad about 50-50, 51-50, they said, Dad, you won in overtime. That's the perspective I like. So thank you throughout this process, Mr. Vice President, for being incredible. I also want to thank the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee. So many members of the Senate Armed Services Committee, we became fast friends in this process. The advice, the consent, the wisdom, the guidance. I look forward to working with all of you and other senators to ensure the Defense Department has what it needs, the nation has what it needs, and that we're prepared to defend it in all moments. To my staff, amazing staff who were with us this entire process, I see so many of you through thick and thin. We used to look at the betting odds every once in a while on this. It was low at one point. Never do that. But we defied them. And there were so many folks on the inside and then allies on the outside who stood by us every single moment. And we are eternally grateful for that. And I want to thank the warfighters. I want to thank the men and women wearing the uniform. And I've said this before when I speak, and I mean it. Every time I stand at a podium and there's bright lights and cameras, the first thing that goes through my head are the guys that I served with on the battlefield. The men and the women who I lock shields with and put my life on the line with, who never get the spotlight, who never have the cameras, who people don't know what they did in dark and dangerous places. But I know. And at the Pentagon, we're going to remember and we're going to know. And we're going to think about those warriors with every single decision that we make. We will put America first. We will bring peace through strength. And the three principles I talked about are what we will bring to that Pentagon. Restore the warrior ethos in everything that we do. Rebuild our military and reestablish deterrence. We don't want to fight wars. We want to deter them, as you said. And we want to end them responsibly. But if we need to fight them, we're going to bring overwhelming and decisive force to close with and destroy the enemy and bring our goals. And to my other family that's here as well, who I love, it's the honor of a lifetime. And I would be remiss if I didn't know one person in this room who doesn't expect to be recognized, but Captain Rougeau is here. He was my company commander on my first deployment in Guantanamo Bay. He was there on June 3rd, 2003, when I first swore in as a second lieutenant at Princeton University. He swore me in, and I wanted to make sure he was here today with me as well. So, Mr. President, thank you very much. To the American people, we have your back. We're going to get to work right away. God bless. Thank you. All right, I guess that's it. Any questions? Guys, let me answer that for the new secretary. All people in our armed services should trust him because he looks out for them and he's going to fight for them. He's going to make sure that we have the kind of military that we can all be proud of, that we can all be proud of, and that again, when we send it to do a job, we do it well, we do it quickly, and then we get the hell out. And that's what Secretary Hexton is going to bring to the Department of Defense. Anything else? as I learned with the Buckeyes just a week ago, when you win the championship, you don't give a damn what the score was. We won the championship on this one. We've got a great Secretary of Defense. We're proud of him. He's going to do a great job. Thank you all. Take care.
All right. That was our brand new Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth. He just got sworn in. Department of Homeland Security nominee Kristi Noem faces her confirmation vote in the next hour. Of course, we are going to take you there, but notable that Hegseth was surrounded by his children and his wife. He thanked the president and the vice president as well. All right now, President Trump heading to Las Vegas today, where he's expected to talk up his no tax on tips proposal. He pitched that, of course, during his campaign. Lucas Tomlinson is in Las Vegas with the details for us. Hi, Lucas.
Hi, Jackie, and good morning. President Trump has returned here to Nevada, becoming the first Republican to win this state in 20 years, all part of his 7 swing state sweep on his way to capturing the popular vote. And as you mentioned, President Trump expected to hold a rally this afternoon at 12:30 local, 3:30 Eastern time, where he's going to thank supporters, particularly those in the service industry, which is massive here. Of course, Jackie, home to some Las Vegas, home to some of the largest hotels in the world. He's going to renew his pledge to get rid of taxes on tips.
Do you remember a little statement about tips? Does anybody remember that little statement? I think we won Nevada because of that statement, but they went out and harassed you over the tips. In other words, we are restoring control of our government to the people.
The issue clearly important to President Trump. He mentioned it, as you saw, on Inauguration Day. Now, some locals we spoke here with today said it might not be easy to get the IRS to go along with this, to not tax on tips. As you can see here, yesterday, President Trump taking his first trip as Commander-in-Chief along with the First Lady aboard Air Force One. First, they visited the hard-hit areas of western North Carolina, devastated by Hurricane Helene. Then they flew cross-country to Los Angeles, where they were greeted unexpectedly on the ramp by California Governor Gavin Newsom. Trump toured the devastation over the Palisades aboard Marine One from the airs, and then saw it firsthand on the ground. He later went to a firehouse for a sit-down with first responders and lawmakers, including LA Mayor Karen Bass, where they sparred over the cleanup effort, Jackie. Now, Trump wants to give homeowners permission to immediately begin cleaning up themselves and not wait months for government-financed contractors and red tape to do the heavy lifting.
They are saying they will not be allowed to start for 18 months.
No, that will not be the case.
Okay, yeah, just so we're right.
You can hold me to it.
There's 4 groups of that.
No.
That would be, they should
No,
be able to do it. They should be able to start tonight.
That will not be the case.
President Trump also said he is looking at potentially scrapping FEMA. He wants states to take control over disaster relief, and he wants that money from FEMA to go into the states. Again, it's not a pledge, just said, the president said it's something he's looking into, Jackie. Perhaps we'll hear more of that today at his rally here in Las Vegas. Jackie?
Lucas, thank you so much for that. And of course, we're going to have more on the wildfire response coming up in the show. But right now, President Trump saying that no tax on tips plan helped him win Nevada. But the pressure, of course, is on to deliver. The question is, can he? To Wall Street Journal editorial board member and former chief speechwriter for President G.W. Bush, Bill McGurn, great to have you with us today. Thank you so much for being here. And this is a huge question. He's got a very aggressive tax agenda that he wants to push forward. It includes no tax on tips, but he also wants to bring down the corporate tax rate and extend the Trump tax cuts. The big debate, of course, now is, will it be one bill for immigration and one bill for taxes? Is this all going to be combined? Is it smarter to combine it and try to push it through right away?
I don't know. I suspect those questions will be answered later in the game when we see what we're doing. As you point out, the difficulty is not the no tax on tips pledge, is that he's trying to do this while bringing down rates on everything else, corporate taxes, reviving the Trump tax cuts and everything. So there's a lot on the plate. I think the logic of this is really pushing toward a flat tax. To just, there's so much, the tax code is so complicated. Let's just move to a cleaner, simpler, flat tax. I'm not sure the president would advocate for that, but that's where the logic is pushing it. I wish him success, because it's going to be very hard on the revenue questions to get everything that he wants.
And Bill, you pointed out on X earlier this week that when Trump was sworn in 2017, he was facing a Democrat Party that was united against him. Now you're saying the Democrats are divided amongst themselves. How do you think that's going to impact his agenda as he tries to move forward? Do you think any Democrats are going to try to work with him on some of these policies? Anybody who saw the Americans speak in this election and say, you know what, maybe he's onto something here?
Well, you know what I think they'll really do? They'll pretend to change, and they might change some language, but they won't really change. They'll just bring back what they were for and try to disguise it better. That's what I think they'll really do. Some will cooperate. Look, John Fetterman has also already said he's going to cooperate with Trump, and I think some of the others who want to get reelected will also cooperate. He has a small minority in both the House and Senate, but as we saw with Hegseth, it was large enough to get losing 3 votes, so that's encouraging.
And he certainly came in with strong approval, but a piece in the Wall Street Journal today actually points out the fact that history shows us this could soften with some time. So he would be better off trying to accomplish as much of his agenda as soon as possible before the midterm elections, as you mentioned, given that slim House majority. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's true for all presidents. You have a lot of political capital when you come in, and it dissipates rapidly. If you don't use it, you lose it. So I think every single one regrets not doing some things earlier. Ironically, for Democrats, I think this might lead them to say, we wish Trump had been reelected in 2020 instead of now, because now he's had 4 years to think about it, clearly better organized. They have a real agenda and they're pushing it through. I don't think that would have happened if you were reelected in 2020. But now we have the energy and the focus to push through a lot of stuff.
I love this quote from Newt Gingrich in that same Wall Street Journal piece where he said that Trump feels a sense of pent-up energy because he had to spend 4 years in the wilderness. And so he had some time to think about how to do this. Real quick, before I let you go, Bill, this is also getting some buzz. President Trump signing an executive order this week to declassify government records on the assassinations of JFK, RFK, MLK Jr. How does this play out politically with the American people who have been asking for transparency for quite some time?
Well, I don't think we're going to learn anything surprising. I'm not like conspiracy theorists that think they're all fascinating. I think when you come up with a theory of the assassination, you have to count for all facts. We often have little dribs and drabs and someone coming out only to be contradicted by other things. So, in general, transparency is a good rule. After 60 years after the assassination, we should be able to handle all the information. I think it's a wise move. I think it's a way to let the air out of the balloon and let people see for themselves.
Just ahead, turn left on Northeast 190th Street.
But in an investigation, you have to look at all of them. And I think it's going to sustain the theory about Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah. Bill McGurn.
Remember, he was a communist.
Yeah.
And no one wants to point that out.
Bill McGurn, great to see you this morning. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, President Trump looking to the stars in his second term as he plans to plant the stars and the stripes on Mars. Retired NASA astronaut Clayton Anderson coming up. But first, the president's pledge to bring prices down as grocery staples continue to climb. Can Donald Trump deliver on cracking down on costs?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Now, if a family member or friend asked you for financial advice or where to go for tax help, well, would you send them somewhere with hundreds and hundreds of complaints? Of course not. That's why for years you've heard me say if you do owe back taxes, if you didn't file returns in the years gone by, or if you are a business owner and you're behind on your payroll taxes, you need to call my friends at Rush Tax Resolution today. Now, hiring the wrong companies can make your situation a lot worse and put you, your family, and or your company in jeopardy. Now, there are a lot of imposters investors out there, but Rush Tax Resolution, they are the only tax relief firm I trust and recommend. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They have protected so many of my listeners from tax disasters and saved them a ton of money. Call Rush Tax now for a free IRS transcript investigation, and they'll tell you upfront and for free if they can help you. They will only take your case if they know they can help you, period. 800-258-7050. 800-258-7050. RushTaxResolution.com.
I love my wife, but like most couples, we had different sleeping needs. One of us likes it warm, and the other prefers to stay cool. You can probably guess who's who. About 15 years ago, I set out on a mission to find the perfect fabric to keep us both comfortable. I found it in Viscose from Bamboo, my favorite founder of Cozy Earth. Cozy Earth offers the softest, most comfortable sheets, towels, PJs, joggers, and more. Our premium bamboo viscose fabric is incredibly soft, breathable, and moisture-wicking, helping regulate body temperature so you stay comfortable all day and night. Unbelievably cozy, ethically sourced, and designed to add a touch of luxury to your home. I believe so strongly that our sheets will turn your bed into a sanctuary, that if you sleep in our sheets for 100 nights and don't absolutely love your experience, we will refund your money, no questions asked. I'm so confident that you'll love Cozy Earth that I guarantee it. It truly is the gift that keeps on giving. Go to CozyEarth.com/Fox News and use code Fox News for up to 40% off. That's CozyEarth.com/Fox News.
FBI issues warning China has successfully gained access to U.S. energy companies, telecommunications, and water plants, meaning you and your family are in critical danger of random blackouts. Are you ready? Fort Patriots has you covered with a powerful solar generator that is safe enough to use inside and never needs gas ever. People use their solar generators to power big appliances like their fridge for days. Kevin M. from Savannah said, I ran 2 refrigerators and 2 freezers. Angel H. from Texas said, it's a lifesaver. And Donald L. said, not only is the generator great, the customer service is fantastic. Why use unsafe gas generators and breathe toxic fumes? Play it safe with the Patriot Power Solar Generator 2000X by Ford Patriots. This best-selling generator is sold out before, so don't wait, or you may find yourself in the dark during a dangerous blackout. Go to GetSolar2.com. That's GetSolar2.com. Claim a free solar panel and free gifts. Go to GetSolar2.com now.
Sometimes bad things happen to good cigars. Not at Famous Smoke Shop. Unlike the other guys, we take pride in how we store, pack, and ship our cigars. We've been family-owned since 1939, so we know what it takes to make a great smoke and a great experience. Visit FamousSmoke.com for thousands of premium cigar brands, fresh and ready to ship from our climate-controlled 20,000-square-foot humidor. Every order is backed by our Famous Freshness Guarantee. Check it out now at FamousSmoke.com and use promo code FREE20. That's FREE20, and we'll take $20 off your order of $99 or more. Our cigar experts make sure you get the best deals on the best cigars, so every smoke is your best smoke. If you want an okay cigar, you go to your neighborhood OK Cigar Shop. If you want the best cigar, you go to Famous Smoke Shop. That's FamousSmoke.com. Get real cigars from a real cigar shop and save $20 right now. Ship fresh, direct to you. Go to FamousSmoke.com and use code FREE20.
President Trump taking week 1 action on high prices, signing an executive order that requires departments and agencies to give emergency price relief to American shoppers. Can the president deliver on his promise to bring costs down? To Slate Stone Wealth Chief Market Strategist Kenny Polcari and Kaltbaum Capital Management President Gary Kaltbaum. Great to have you both this morning. And this is the big question, of course, an executive order saying prices must come down, but he's also talked about his energy strategy, how bringing oil prices down will be hugely important to getting prices down. It's sort of a mixed bag here. It's not particularly one thing here or one thing there, Gary. It's a strategy that all comes together, and it's part of his bigger vision.
Energy, housing, regulations, in that order. He believes that if he can get energy prices down, which is huge, not just at the pump, but how many thousands of products are made with petroleum, regulations, there's just too many, forcing up costs on so many things. I mean, on ovens, you have to pay higher prices at this point. Food's a little bit more difficult in the fact hey, with the bird issue right now, you got egg prices going up. We got a freeze in Florida, so who knows if orange juice is going to go up. But it's just good to see that they're attacking this and full-throated, and hopefully everybody gets the message, and hopefully OPEC gets the message. They have to realize we're nearing a $30 trillion economy. We are the head honcho, top dog, big cheese of economies, and they need us. We'll see how this plays out, but I think it's a good start as far as coming out of the White House.
Well, he told Americans in his comments at Davos that he had been speaking to Saudi Arabia and he was going to get OPEC to bring prices down, and we know we're going to drill here. So you put those two things together, and it could be really great for the American economy. Kenny, I want to get to you on this because President Trump has been renewing his tariff threat. We know he uses this as a negotiation strategy. I will just say that. New tariffs on Mexico, Canada, China, they could come as soon as February 1st. But you had JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon talking about the plan. And you know what? He actually liked it. He said it could be slightly inflationary if it is implemented. It may not be if it's just a tool. But he also says it's good for our national security. And Kenny, I always make this argument because Americans suffered through 9% inflation under the Biden administration that just recklessly wrote checks and kept spending for things that we didn't necessarily need. National security is important. So if you see inflation tick up a little bit, do you think most people would say, you know what, I understand why this is happening, that's okay? Because Jamie Dimon said, so be it.
Right, so that's the story that has to get out, right? It's got to be told that way. People have to understand if that happens, this is the reason, and it is about national security. And I think for the most part, I said most of the country, I think, will support it because most of the country supported this change, knowing all well that, this was part of the conversation. And to your point, I do think that the tariffs are more of a negotiation tool. He's already softened on the China tariffs, Thursday and Friday of this week. He's kind of pulled back on that. He's still putting the pressure on, I think, Mexico and Canada, but he's pulled back from Europe and China just to kind of see how it plays out. So I think it's much more of a negotiation.
Gary, your thoughts on this?
There's strength in numbers. As I said, we're nearing a $30 trillion economy. After that, China's 18, and after that, Germany is less than 5. So we are big time, and we have been abused by many countries on the trade front. So he's putting them on notice, and I gather they'll be moving pretty quickly on trade. I do believe this is a tool. There's no way we can get into a trade war. Nobody wins. But I think it's smart that he's using the size of this government and the country and its ability to do great things and get them moving our way.
I suspect you're right, but obviously we'll be watching, and it remains to be seen. Finally, of course, I want to get to what has happened on Wall Street since Inauguration Day. A little bit of a shaky Friday on Wall Street, but stocks up for the week on the heels of Trump's return to the Oval Office. Final word to both of you. I'll start with you first on this, Gary. Do you think the optimism is going to last? Because the first part of the year, the first opening week, was a little bit rocky too. Is this going to be a little volatile as we move forward, or should we expect some smooth sailing?
January is always a pain in the butt, but one part, interest rates have been coming down, and the second part, great reaction to the big banks' earnings, which usually is a pretty good harbinger going forward. And I think that has a part to do with the less regulatory environment and the fact that I don't think if companies want to merge, nobody's going to stop them like they have in the past 4 years. So I think we're okay, but just remember, we have a few thousand earnings reports to come out in the next few weeks. That's going to tell the tale for the next quarter. But as long as interest rates, I think, behave, I think we're in a pretty good stead right now. And then again, what comes out of the White House on rules and regulations and fees and fines and mandates and taxes, if they get that under control, I think we got good things coming.
All right. I got to get to a break. Kenny, we'll make sure that we have you back on. Both of you really appreciate Gary Kalpam and Kenny Polcari. Thank you so much for being here. All right, coming up, the space race is heating up again as President Trump sets his sights on Mars, and later, Trump exploring devastation here on Earth. What he's proposing